interesting there. Now, this is Ajuri saying that regardless of the Constitution, because that's what it is, each state, according to the Constitution, is a sovereignty governed by the governors. We cast our thoughts back to Ondo State, where the governor is incapacitated by health, and naturally, due to the fact that he had exceeded the constitutionally allowed number of days, according to the law, the deputy governor is supposed to take charge as acting governor.
Yeah.
The House of Assembly refused that, and the president intervened and said maintain status quo. What that meant was the governor is still governor, you're still deputy governor, you're not governing in any acting capacity. The assembly is the assembly. In that case as well, the assembly commenced impeachment proceedings on the deputy governor, bordering on fraud, misappropriation of funds and all of that. Finally, after threats of an uprising or a protest, the president finally, a few weeks ago, called them in and said, you know what, this guy has to go in acting capacity. Now we have the River State situation where the president has intervened twice as well. The second time being the 8-point mandate to sign and go and implement. Does this action not basically tell us that the president is the governor of every state? Is that the direction we're going? Because it's been successful so far in 2 states.
Well, I think that if we actually keep to what the law says, in the first place, we wouldn't have had the president.
Are we
coming? We're not.
But we're not.
We're not. So it is all of these lapses that is, leading to this intervention. How be it, the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is the Grand Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces. And with greatest respect to Ajuri, who is the spokesman to the president, I agree with him that Mr. President has that obligation to ensure that within the Nigerian state there is peace and stability. But then we must also recognize and not be blind to the fact that there is a constitutional matter here at play. And if the president must intervene, he would have to only come in as a father. And his intervention is supposed to be advisory. It's supposed to be advisory, especially on a political matter and a constitutional matter. Now, the solution that Mr. President was bringing on board is to bring a political situation, a solution to a political problem. And I agree that it's only a political solution that can solve a political problem. But in this case, we have a constitutional problem that only the Constitution can be allowed to solve. You get that? So if Mr. President wanted to, cut corners and use a political solution to solve the constitutional problem, which is possible, it would have been that Mr. Edison Eye would have also been a signatory to that, to assure of his withdrawal from the court. But the litigations are not just on what the governor had filed. Edison is in court, several other persons are in court. So for Mr. President to now give a directive against the Constitution, we can't justify it. The president does not have that constitutional power to give that kind of directive to a state governor to shun the Constitution.
Have we therefore slowly transited to being a country devoid of a constitution?
No,
because the only proof of having a constitution is you obeying it.
Well, that's not the only proof. We have a constitution. We wouldn't say we don't have a constitution. But over time, we have not had people live by it. And I think that, why do we have senior advocates everywhere? The number of senior advocates in this country, there's so much. Number of lawyers in this country, there's so much. The number of civil society organizations in the country are so much. They are supposed to be the conscience of society. So what is their job? What are you doing? When you see that even the president is defaulting, and the National Assembly that is supposed to have an oversight over the president is playing along with the presidency, that's where these lawyers and the civil society come in. They can file cases in court to say, Mr. President, we're challenging your decision. So my point is that, yes, Mr. President, as the father of the nation, has the right to intervene How be it in this particular case not constitutional. However, we are not blaming the president for intervening, because he has to provide a political solution to the political situation.